Hey, what's up everyone, Vihan here. Now there are several instances when we view great success as requiring great action. Whether it's trying to lose weight, grow your business, or win a championship, the assumption is that we need to make revolutionary changes and improvements in order to have success. But that is not necessarily true. And this changed for me when I was introduced to the marginal gains theory, which focuses on small, consistent changes in order to become great. The marginal gains theory, or the 1% principle, can be traced back to the 2003 British cycling team and its then new performance director Dave Brailsford. At the time, British cycling had suffered from mediocre performances for close to 100 years. Brailsford had been hired to change this going forward and began to look for small rooms of improvement in multiple areas, from the mechanics of the bike, to the suits of the riders, to the health and recovery of the team. Over time, these small changes compounded and saw the British cycling team come out on top at the 2008 Olympics in Beijing and the 2012 Olympics in London, as well as several subsequent Tour de France victories. For a 10-year period starting in 2007, the British cycling team is widely regarded to have been the most dominant in the history of the sport. Through Brailsford's approach, the theory of marginal gains suggests focusing on small changes and seeking constant improvement 1% at a time. Very often, radical or transformational change can throw you into disarray, and that's when you concentrate on making several 1% improvements, the compound effect of which will add up to something significant and help you avoid a major upheaval. Improving by 1% may seem entirely negligible at first, but over time the effects snowball into a major change. In fact, author James Clear explained that if you can get 1% better each day for 1 year, you'll end up 37 times better by the time you're done. And if you get 1% worse each day for 1 year, you'll drop all the way down to about 0. So in a similar way that marginal gains can accumulate, so can marginal losses. And so if you discover a decline in your results, this may just be the sum of several choices. It may also very well be 1% here and 1% there, noticeably adding up to a significant issue. So be wary of that as well. Now at this point you may be thinking, alright Vihan, I get the 1% thing, but can I just increase it to about 5 or 10%? Well, I'm glad you asked, and you're not wrong for thinking that, but the marginal gains theory highlights that whatever venture you're pursuing is bound to have multiple facets to it, and it's highly unlikely to drastically change everything. Instead, aiming to improve every single aspect of your business, sport, or habit by just 1% will have much more of an overall impact than the sum of its parts. If you've watched my video on the 5-hour rule, you'll know that constant learners who spend 5 hours in a week dedicated to learning end up significantly improving a lot more than their peers who don't do the same. I'll link that video right down below the like button for you. In that spirit, the marginal gains theory is about taking the time to understand your areas of improvement and being patient about the fact that the small changes and improvements that you're making now will show dividends in the long run. There's no point dedicating time or effort to pursuing marginal gains if you don't identify and resolve inefficiencies within your work. Generally, when there's a trend of poor performance, it isn't necessarily a consequence of one single mistake, but accumulation of a bunch of small ones over time. Look, we're always aspiring to see drastic improvements like building a thriving business or losing 50 pounds, like it's a simple destination that we have to get to. But the reality is that these major successes often shape out to be the sum of various micro improvements that we make over time. It would help to view your goal as something that you have to bridge the gap between. Considering where you are now and where you want to be, look at all the critical success factors that come into play for you to get to your goal and focus your improvement around them. When I think about applying the marginal gains theory, I'm reminded of a really memorable anecdote that Will Smith once shared about setting out to make improvements over time.
And I learned very young.
From parents?
From my parents, absolutely. That you don't try to build a wall. You don't set out to build a wall. You don't say, I'm gonna build the biggest, baddest, greatest wall that's ever been built. You don't start there. You say, I'm gonna lay this brick as perfectly as a brick can be laid. There will not be one brick on the face of the earth that's gonna be laid better than this brick that I'm gonna lay in this next 10 minutes. And you do that every single day.
And soon you have a wall.
And soon you have a wall.
Now maybe I would use a different metaphor than building a wall in today's world, but the idea is that in order to have a true shot at greatness, your attention likely needs to be focused on doing those small things as well as you can. and making steady improvements so that one day you can look back and see what those tiny, consistent changes have amounted to. And hopefully you'll be proud of bridging that gap, and hopefully you'll be proud of the success that you'll experience as a result of it. If you like this video, I make a lot of them. Subscribe to the channel for more from me every week, or visit vihanshalaya.com to stay in touch and get a copy of my free productivity cheat sheet. That's it. Thanks for watching.